NFC East and the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, we hear a lot of Dallas Cowboys stuff with Jacob Janowski.
Oh, yes, this is the year.
I mean, this is the year. So what was your question, Mark, for the Dallas Cowboys this year?
My question for the Cowboys this year is it all going to work on defense? Because I don't think this is the team that the Cowboys were in the past on defense, especially given the fact that I think they benefited from just how well the Ezekiel Elliott project was coming along. I worry that they did sign a new defensive coordinator in Mike Nolan, but last year they were not as good as a lot of the talent on their defensive roster would lead you to believe. And I don't know if the hiring of Mike McCarthy or the hiring of Mike Nolan and changing up the defense a little bit is going to make enough of a difference. The offense is going to be fine. Zeke is good. You got another great wide receiver, I believe, in CeeDee Lamb. And Dak Prescott is a good quarterback. I am a fan of Dak Prescott. I think he could do a lot of things that good quarterbacks can do. Albeit, I don't think he is a great quarterback, though, and I don't think he has certain traits that are going to make it so he can just win any game at any given time. So my question is, can the defense do their end of the bargain, which is something I've been saying a lot today. I didn't even realize that until now, but I'm concerned that they're not going to see the improvement that they want to see on defense with the new defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I agree with you. And my question's more offensive side of it, and it's more about Mike McCarthy and asking, is he finally over the last relationship struggles? Also, obviously I watched that happen and unfold, and it was sad because I loved Mike and Aaron overall and stuff. And I mean, they're still in contract negotiations with Dak Prescott, and it seems like it's already getting off to a weird start. And is he going to be able to make the offense as good as it should be? Because I think pretty much everyone agrees that the Dallas Cowboys offense has the talent to be a great offense. And is Mike McCarthy the right guy to do that? And I think that starts with having a great relationship with Dak Prescott. And it doesn't seem like they're able to come together at the moment right now. They both want different amounts of money. So,
yeah, well, I imagine you still have a little bitter taste in your mouth with Mike McCarthy, I reckon.
Yeah, I mean, I like the guy overall, and he did well, but I think it was time to move on. That happens. I mean, it's hard to be great in the same
Got a little
place.
old.
Yeah, I mean, people in the locker room sometimes get tired of your voice. That's okay. Got to move on in life. But the Giants.
Okay.
And my question's just one word, and it's kind of like a what? I don't know how you want to say what. There's a lot of different ways you could say what. It could be an extended what, but that's all I've been reading this year is weird things coming out of Judge and his coaching things, and not putting jersey names on their practice uniforms. And I mean, I don't understand. Like last year, the Chiefs and 49ers put names on their practice uniforms. They made the Super Bowl. I don't think that matters. Why would you do that? He makes the coaches run laps when they screw up too, not just the players. Like, that's weird. I mean, you have Jason Garrett, he was a head coach. Freddie Kitchens, head coach. Brett Bellamy was a head coach at Wisconsin and Arkansas. So it's like, why are you making coaches do that? And then he's taping tennis balls to the hands of defensive so they don't hold. And it's just like, you just seem like you're like a high school coach, man. Like, what's happening here? And it's just the amount of stories that come out. I just get confused every single time.
Yeah, you see, my question is also Joe Judge related, and I'm going to say it, though. I like it. I like Joe Judge being weird because, if we're going to be honest, Ben McAdoo and Pat Shurmur were two of the most bleh head coaches. Like, there was nothing to them. And it reeked when you watched the Giants play, because the Giants were not just bad these past few seasons. They were entirely uninspired. They looked like watching them play looked like they weren't going anywhere. There wasn't any sign of, oh, they screwed this up a lot, but they'll get better at it. Or, oh, they were really close to getting the hang of this, but it kept slipping through their hands and it punished them badly. I just didn't see that with them. It just looked like the team never bought into what the coach was selling them. So my question is, will Joe Judge win this team over? And I don't know. Maybe it takes some unorthodox ways to get it done. But I remember when they first hired Joe Judge being kind of confused, thinking, well, that's kind of a random person to hire. I remember then watching what he said in his press conference and thinking, I like this guy. I like what he's saying. I think he's got a head on his shoulders. And now he's done some pretty unorthodox stuff. But, if it works, it works. I mean, don't knock it till you try it. I think the correlation of no names on players and all that fun stuff is a little strange, as well as the tennis balls. But if it works, it works. And I don't know. I'll be excited to see if this Giants team looks more inspired. They're not going to be good. There's too many holes on this team. But I just want to see, is there a promise on this team?
Yeah.
Whereas these past few years, they've looked bad and they've looked entirely discouraged in the process.
Yeah, I agree. And it's just going to be an interesting ride to see what he does there. And I mean, if it works, he'll be one of the weirder coaches, but it works. And then if it doesn't work, I mean, he'll be laughable, but I mean, what's the difference that they have been the past couple of years? So might as well try something new. But another team is the Washington football team. We have, and we haven't had great stories come out about them this entire year.
Oh my god!
And mine's not even like a football related question. It's more of just, is Dan Snyder the worst owner in sports right now?
I mean, he's always been. When you ask me about the worst ownership in NFL, at least, I can't speak too much about other leagues, but his name comes up and Dean Spanos' name comes up. And at least Dean Spanos can just be called a sellout. You could just call him not caring about the fans. You could say all those things, but at least up to our knowledge, Dean Spanos hasn't harbored an absolutely terrible, toxic work environment that has resulted in countless. I mean, we could go on forever about how awful the Washington football team's organization is. And I mean, I'd say probably yes. I would say Dan Snyder is the worst owner, at least in the NFL. I don't know about other leagues enough to say that. As much as I dislike Robert Kraft, I can't say that he's worse than Dan Snyder.
Yeah, but that's just my question for them, and hopefully, I mean, obviously people always want him to sell the team, so we'll see if that ever happens. But
yeah, my question before we move on is a football related one, just so then the Washington football team fans can have a little something to think about. My question is, can the defense do all the heavy work? Because this defense has got a lot of talent, especially on that front seven. Chase Young, Ryan Kerrigan, among others. That is Gerald McCoy. Like, you've got Montez Sweat. Like, you got a lot of guys, a lot of young guys, talented guys who are ready to wreck offensive lines. And I think they're equipped to slug out games. The offense, on the other hand, is not. The offense is not ready to go. They're a gaping hole at running back. Their wide receiving core is not good outside of Terry McLaurin. Dwayne Haskins still needs time to grow. So can the defense do all the heavy work? They're going to be good on defense, I think. But just how good can they be, and how much can they win games for Washington?
Yeah, I think that'll be interesting. And obviously, that's why we had Ron Rivera come in there to hopefully make the defense better. But our last team is the Eagles. And basically my question is for them is, can they stay healthy? I mean, Wentz became the first player to throw for 4,000 yards without a 500-yard receiver last year. So, they struggled a lot. A lot of people last year picked them to make the Super Bowl and stuff. And
they were talented.
Yeah. So can they stay on the field? Can they, hopefully do better than they did last year? Because that's not the Eagles team that I believe they can be.
Yeah, I mean, the question I have is along the same lines. Can they handle injuries this season? Because injuries happen. They've already lost one of their starting offensive linemen for the year. But there's just a lack of depth at offensive line, at linebacker, at corner. Wide receiver is still not very deep. I just don't think they're ready for it in certain positions again. It's going to happen. They're the Eagles. But every team faces injuries.
Yeah.
You don't get that lucky every year. But can we just talk for a moment about how phenomenal Carson Wentz is? I think people are overlooking just how unreal of a season he had last year, given what he had at his disposal. I thought that was incredible. And I think that just having Alshon Jeffrey back, and maybe Jalen Reagor will be great. Did get hurt though, so we'll see if he actually stays healthy, which already their luck coming back. I just don't know. I don't know if they can handle injuries again. I think that they lack depth, and it might be the same story again, because I don't think they've gotten much better in that regard.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Mark, and I hope they can stay healthy, because I think they have a great roster. To be honest with you, a pretty good roster, and Doug Peterson seems like a great coach, and I think Carson Wentz can be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I think he is. It's just, will there be pieces around him to be able to do it?
Yeah.